What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Rexx Ruger. That's the Alexis Arguello puppet. We're back. This is the home of the most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth. Legends, luminaries, world champions, and fighters on the come up, all coming here to chop it up with your boy, Reckless Rex. My guest is here. We're getting down to it, and we are chopping it up right now. Let's do it. Get my man in here, man, and we will get down to brass tacks like only we do. Armond, what's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Good to have you on here, man. And it's really nice to meet you, man.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. First of all, man, I want to ask you, man, right off the bat, I see you're running it back with a guy who beat you, man. Is it important, man? Is it a personal thing when a guy beats you, man? Do you want to get some get back?
Yeah, it's definitely personal. First time is always business, but the second time around, it's always personal.
So this Dante's in trouble then.
Yeah.
You also have a draw on your resume, man. I'm wondering, man, if fighters' opinions really vary on the draw, man. What does a draw feel like, man? Like when you tie another guy in a fight, how does it make you feel, man, when you leave the ring? Seems like so much is unresolved.
Yeah, it feel like unfinished business. Like it really feel like you didn't do nothing for it. Like it wasn't a fight. Like draw. Like,
right.
I came here and like a sparring match or something. Like at the end of like how you would feel after sparring.
Right.
Like, you don't get nothing out of it.
Right. Like, did this even count?
Yeah, right.
and for you, man, how did the boxing journey start for you, man? How early did you get a pair of boxing gloves on?
I really got started. I got started and introduced to the sport like around 12, 13 years old.
Okay.
My mom, we grew up in this neighborhood, and my mom, she was going to church, and the pastor, he actually happened to be a boxing coach. So he told my mom, like, yeah, I coach boxing, and he introduced me to the sport, and I just became a natural because I was always fighting and stuff around the neighborhood. So when I got introduced into boxing, it just stuck with me.
And that's pretty rare, though, because a lot of fathers that I talk to, of fighters, they're gung-ho, man. Sometimes the mothers, man, not so much, man. So that's probably rare. I think most mothers don't like the idea of their kids getting punched in the face for a living,
Yeah. My mom still kind of, like, at my fights, she'll come, but she always says she has to go to the bathroom. she doesn't really, like, watch it.
Yeah. That's got to be the coolest pastor in the world, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Pastor / boxing coach.
Yeah, we used to call him Coach Rev.
Yeah. and so when you get into boxing, are you watching a lot of it? And if so, are you looking at any guys on TV as like, when we get into a sport, we kind of have those heroes, those guys we want to emulate. Did you have any of those guys?
Yeah, the most popular guy everybody say, but he's the biggest name, Floyd Mayweather. I always used to, you got to really be, you got casual boxing fans, you got people that's really into boxing. So the casuals used to always want to watch Floyd Mayweather on pay-per-view. Yeah. So that's what I used to always see. Once I got into it, I started looking up a lot of other guys, like Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. Started looking up, and I even started like watching like amateur boxing.
So you start going on a deep dive and doing your history. Yeah. Now, what about current guys? Who are some guys doing it right now that you enjoy watching?
Shout out to my boy from my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio, Abdullah Mason.
Yeah.
Another one from my hometown, Tiger Johnson. I really just like watching my boys from my hometown put on the show. I like Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Javante, those kind of guys.
Now, another guy who's a polarizing figure in the boxing world, since you bring up Ohio, I'm interested where you stand on Jake Paul. Has he done enough where you can look at him and say, hey, he's a boxer now, or has he not earned that respect yet?
No, he earned that respect to me. He a boxer. If you in the gym and you training, and you trying to work on getting better, and you actually fighting, can't nobody tell you nothing otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and he's bringing eyes to the sport too. He is bringing eyes,
definitely, and he create opportunities. He's signing people. He helping people start their career. He paying good for up and coming. So I all respect to Jake Paul.
Getting the ladies paid too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so where do you feel like right now, man, you're 29 years old. Where do you feel like you are, physically, mentally, in terms of like your prime? Because an athlete's prime always used to be equated to being like young, 20, 21, 25, you know what I mean? But then I get a lot of boxers on here, man, who are up there in age, man. Maybe their body isn't what it used to be, but they figured out a lot up here, though. You know what I mean? I think when those two things kind of come together, you're in your prime, but where do you stand on where you are at 29?
Well, I think it's backwards for me because I think I'm starting to get into my prime now because, like, ever since I was even young, I always been a late bloomer. Like, puberty, like, I was late, like, smaller than everybody else, but I was older, but I was smaller than everybody else. So I feel like now I'm getting into my grown man strength and things like that. Like, it's coming in late, but it's good because this is my prime now. It's coming in late, but it's my prime now that I'm getting older.
So, it's like you're going Benjamin Button.
Yeah, like I'm going Benjamin Button. Yeah, like I'm going backwards. So definitely.
And so you're currently fighting at super lightweight, right? 140 pounds.
No, this is for lightweight, 135.
Okay, and obviously that's a division jam-packed with talent, man. Is there one guy who stands out at 135, man, who you look at as kind of like the face of the division, or that guy? Obviously, Tank's got a belt. The various guys have belts or whatever, but is there anybody that really stands out as being, that dude at 135?
Yeah, like you said, Javante, he the most exciting fighter right now.
Yeah,
at 135, he doing the numbers. Yeah, knockouts, despite his last fight, nobody's perfect, but he doing numbers, knockouts, he the money man. So, I say Tank at 135.
And since you brought up the fight, man, like what did you make of the fight, like with Roach, man? Like, how did you see it going, and were you perplexed by the taking the knee and not having scored a knockdown? You've been doing this a while. I'm sure if you're on the other side of that ring, a guy takes a knee, you're thinking you scored a knockdown.
Right. Yeah, for me, I think the fight was close. I kind of gave it. I'm not trying to be biased, but I kind of gave the edge to Javante just off more accuracy. If you look at the punch stats, the copy box numbers, he was the more accurate puncher. But I knew how that fight was kind of go. Like I said, if you're a casual, you're not into boxing like that. But I know about Lamont Roach. I look at his fights too, and I knew that fight was kind of going to go like that. He wasn't going to come lay down. He was going to fight Tank. But I believe, the knee should have been kind of as a knockdown because it's a fight. It's not sparring. So I think Tank was he treated the fight, to me, how I was looking at it, he treated the fight like he was sparring.
Right.
Really. He wasn't like locked in.
And when did you realize that you had this gift to be able to fight? Like you mentioned, you were handling your business in the street or whatever, man, getting into fights. That's a common story with a lot of guys on here, man. Do you realize that you have this ability? I mean, are there a bunch of kids? Obviously, there's a bunch of kids walking around that neighborhood that have taken ass whoopings that have found out firsthand.
Well, so I grew up like I was in I lived like in the projects of Cleveland. And two boys tried to jump me. Okay. And I beat them up at the same time. So I'm like, then like I was beating everybody up in school, getting suspended. Like it was like rarely I was losing fights as a kid. I was just winning. So when I started boxing, you're gonna bump your head on the come up. But them guys that I was learning from sparring, eventually I started catching up to them. And getting out on them and sparring.
Sure.
So I'm like, damn, I might be good. I might be good at this.
Yeah. And you're beating kids up, and suddenly you're realizing, like, hey, I could actually get paid for this.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm handing out all these ass whoopings for free. I could be getting paid for this.
Yeah, definitely.
And so what is the plan? Because obviously, only you're inside your own body, man. But like, you mentioned, puberty late, being smaller, man. But what would your ceiling be as far as like weight? Like, could you see yourself exploring other weight classes and going higher?
Yeah, I can see myself finishing maybe at 140.
Okay.
Just 140. I don't actually get big really. But I can see myself finishing at 140 or maybe 147
Yeah.
in the future. This fight right here is for WB Junior WBC and ABF.
Okay.
So that's going to help me get in the rankings and move on with my career.
So, so have you and your team, discussed like a timeline on like when you would like to be in the mix, for like world titles? Because it might sound like, and people might say in this interview, the guy is, 7-1. You're asking about world title fights, but we are seeing guys get world title fights, man, with a lot less fights than what used to be the norm. You know what I mean? Like, you brought Keyshawn Davis up. He's got a WBO title, and he's in his 13th fight. You know what I mean? So we are seeing it happen a lot earlier than it used to happen. I mean, I'm 52 years old, so I remember when guys had to have like 20, 25 fights. They really had to climb the ranks and earn those shots. You know what I mean? Like now you see guys get it with a lot less fights. What is the game plan?
Well, the game plan is, trust my team, keep winning, go through the challenges. If the opportunity comes, we'll be ready. I just want to just keep going through the process, keep getting better, just keep getting better, keep studying, keep focusing, doing everything I need to do to get to that world championship level.
It's good that you've got that poise too, because a lot of young fighters do want to rush the process sometimes. It's nice that you're saying that it is a process, you know what I mean, and it does take time.
Yeah. Once you get into the business of boxing and kind of understand like the politics of it, you'll stress yourself out trying to man, I want to get there, I need to get there. You'll stress yourself out. But if you're just doing everything you need to do, living right, eating right, finishing the job and the task at hand, you'll get there.
Are you a guy that walks around pretty close to your fighting weight?
Yeah, usually normal. Sometimes if I haven't had a fight in quite a while, I probably get a little over, but it's not hard for me to make the weight. Like I don't be weight drained or stuff like that. It just falls off.
Yeah. Now talking about other weight divisions, and this is just like getting your like opinion on it, man. But it looks like at the end of this year, we're going to see Bud Crawford against Canelo Alvarez, man. Like, where do you rate Bud's chances in a fight like that?
I think it's 50-50 just because of the skill. Just because of the skill and talent-wise, I think it's 50-50 with Terrence Crawford. I'm riding with Terrence. My heart is with Terrence, but my mind is with Canelo.
Yeah.
Because of the physicality. Like he's bigger, he's stronger. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it. But
it's tough to go against either one of those guys, man, because when you play it out in your mind, man, it's hard to see either one of them losing.
Right.
It is. It's hard. I mean, Bud's never lost. I mean, so it's almost impossible to picture a scenario with him losing because we've never seen what it looks like.
Yeah, right, definitely. I just want to see how his power carries at that weight because that's Canelo. You never see Canelo get hurt really.
Yeah.
Even when he went up to fight Bivol really didn't hurt him. He just outworked him.
Yeah.
And that was a bigger man.
Now, what's a good rule of thumb for taking fights on short notice? How short a notice have you ever taken a fight? Because obviously, like we saw it, you brought up Bivol. We saw that card back in February in Saudi Arabia. And we saw that Josh Padley guy come in on short notice and take a fight with Shakur. We saw Martin Bacoli also on that same card come in on short notice against Joseph Parker. That one didn't work out so well for him. But like, what's too short of notice, like for you? Someone calls you up to take a fight. What's too short?
Too short notice. 3 weeks.
3 weeks is too. Yeah, it's not enough.
I kind of feel like I need give me a full camp. Give me a full chance to maximize my winning opportunity. 6 to 8 week camp. I mean, if now how the promoters and the matchmakers get you is they offer you some good money. So sometimes you might be down on your luck and it's like, hey, this is what I need right here.
Right. Right, like that's what happened with that guy who stepped in the Shakur fight, changed his life.
It changed his life, definitely changed his life. See, I got offered to fight on the Fandora undercard, against a guy 9-1, 8-rounder. You know, and I would have took the fight, but it was 2 weeks notice, and I wasn't nowhere near 135 pounds.
Yeah. So it's smart, man. Sometimes the smarter move is to say no. Sometimes.
Yep.
It is, and so you just previously had a fight you just had the previous fight on April 26th. Now that was a split decision loss, so that means that a judge did see it your way, man. And I know fighters, when they lose split decisions, you know, it's your job to say that you won the fight, man. But realistically, how did you see the fight going?
I honestly, a lot of people, this is why we doing a rematch, because it's real controversial. Like,
yeah,
it left a lot of questions in the air between his people and my people. It was real controversial. That's why we doing a rematch, because it was so close. You know, I thought I edged it though. I pushed the pace. If you see the highlights in the clip, it's a highlight thing, like a 30-second.
Yeah.
40-second minute clip that went viral of me and him fighting.
Yep.
And you could see the damage that I caused on his face, like his jaw broke, bruised and cuts. And it looked like I wasn't even in the fight after the fight. And people was like, damn, how did they square that fight? It don't look like he was touched. I think so this time around, my team, we just want to make it more precise. We really didn't change anything, but we're going to just up the tempo just more this time.
Yeah. It is kind of disheartening, right? And I've certainly talked about it numerous times on here, man, but it is unfortunate that we do still see such bad judging and such bad scoring. It does really, it is a black cloud hanging over the sport at times.
Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, even when these judges, if you really think about it, like basketball, football,
sure,
those type of sports are fact-based. Like, the score is a fact.
Right.
The numbers are the fact. Judges is opinion-based.
Yep.
They're looking at it from their point of view. That's an opinion. That's not a fact. So
right.
They're looking at it from their point of view. So that's their opinion. Whoever they like or think that guy's winner or what they looking at is their opinion. There's a lot of these times it don't be factual.
And the problem is, too, a lot of these guys, man, you know, not to call anybody out by name, man, but I've had this conversation with other people on here. You know, sometimes those fights aren't being looked at and scored by guys that have actually done it. I think that's part of the problem right there. Even if you only did it on an amateur level, you should at least be somebody sitting there watching. If two men fighting is going to be scored by somebody, I want it to be scored by guys that have scrapped.
That has scrapped, definitely. It's a lot of volunteers who just like the sport of boxing and want to be around it.
Right.
And that's when a lot of stuff get confused at.
Yeah. I mean, you get these guys, man, you know, I'm not trying to like say anything bad about them, but you get these 65, 70-year-old guys sitting there that probably have never had a confrontation in their life, you know?
No, really.
I mean, they don't know like what
some women too.
Yeah.
Women judges that they just like to watch it.
Yeah. Now, do you like what Turki Al-Sheikh is doing for the sport? He's obviously trying to shake things up quite a bit, trying to make the best fight the best. But there have been a certain demographic of people out there that are protective of the sport that don't really like the idea of him honing in. He wants to change some of the belts, like some of the weight classes, change some of the pay scale or whatever. But ultimately, he does seem like he's trying to make great fights, though, man. Do you like what he's doing?
I definitely like what he's doing. Anytime, especially at my level right now, anytime somebody new and want to come in and give new opportunities, it's definitely a chance to get out there. I like what he's doing. He trying to make it more interesting.
Yeah,
and you need that sometime in boxing.
Yeah.
You know, especially a lot of platforms are shutting down and closing. Like, we lost HBO, we lost Showtime. It's a lot of platforms that's shutting down. So you got to make it more interesting.
So, in this rematch, which is going to be, if I'm not mistaken here, June 7th, correct? June 7th.
Correct.
When you say you haven't changed much, but you want to push the pace more, for people that might be watching this who, as you said earlier, aren't the most hardcore boxing fans, what would that entail and what would that look like, pushing the pace? Just like more punch output?
Yeah, just looking like I'm having more control of the fight. Making him fight when I want to fight, pushing the pace. Just steady action, being on top of him, being in his face, giving him a little room to breathe, no room to think. Just pushing the pace a little more instead of just sitting there and we trying to figure out who trading shots or counter each other. Just push the that's what I mean by pushing the pace. Just make the fight. Just me make the fight more interesting. Make him on his back foot, like push him going, make him go back.
Yeah.
And I'm being more of the aggressor.
Are you the kind of guy who leaves it up to your team to watch tape or do the or find information on your opponent, or do you get involved and do you watch your opponents?
I'll leave it up to more of my team. Well, I watch, but I don't watch that much. I watch a little bit, then I'll send it to my team to watch.
Yeah.
And have them break down. So when I go over to camp, I just had a thought in my head of what I need to do. And because I don't want to get too stuck on watching my opponent and then to worry about like, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that.
Right.
Sometimes they try to trick you and come in and do something different.
Right.
So I just let my team dissect it, and I just work on what I need to work on to execute the game plan.
Have you given a lot of thought to your longevity in the sport? Like, I've had guys on here who are very calculated and they know that they want to have X amount of fights in their career, or they want to walk away from the sport at a certain age. Are you kind of playing it by ear, or have you thought about how long you want to be in the game?
Well, I'm kind of playing it by ear. I definitely know I can't box forever, but
Sure.
But and I understand the politics of boxing too at that. So even if the world title thing don't work, there's a lot of people boxing that paid good money and they invested in it and they living good lives off just good investments off of what they did in their career. So that's one thing I'm really focusing on, just investing in things I earn, fruits from my labor. That's really what I'm looking towards.
And have you thought about what life after boxing, like after competing in the ring, like what that looks like? Do you feel like you're somebody that will always keep a foot in boxing? Like, are you interested in the promotion aspect or being a coach or a trainer yourself? Or do you feel like when your fighting days are done, you'll go to something completely different?
No, I love the sport. So I definitely look forward to still having my foot in it, I'm coaching, amateur coaching, or opening my own gym.
Yeah. And what would that look like? Would that be there in the Ohio area? Like, is that where you'll put down roots and stay?
Yeah, definitely in the Ohio area.
Yeah. Ohio's been on the map, man, with the boxing, man. And I'm not even just saying Jake Paul, man, but you were throwing out great names, man. I mean, I sometimes forget that Abdullah Mason and the whole Mason family is from Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio churns out a lot of fighters.
Yeah. It's a fighting town. Growing up here is rough. Like, growing up in the Midwest is rough. So all you don't do nothing if you either play sports or you get in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's either or, you pick one. And it's rough growing up here. So, a lot of kids try to stay out of trouble and stay out the way. And a lot of us grew up fighting. We grew up bumping our heads.
And what would it have been if it wasn't boxing for you, man? Like, where's you mentioned playing sports, man. Like, were you into other things? If it wouldn't have been boxing, man, like, would it have been something else?
Not really. I only did one other sport, really, and that was I wrestled in high school.
Okay.
So, and that was because that was like the closest thing to boxing.
Yeah.
But I really don't know. I thought about getting into acting. I like watching movies and stuff like that. And my friends say I'm funny, I'm a comedian,
there
stuff
you go.
like that. So I probably would have gone into something like that, maybe.
Yeah, why not, right? And even after boxing, there's still time to do all that,
right?
You know, I mean, shit. I mean, so for people that want to tap in, man, do you have any details on like where or how people could see this fight if they're not in the area on June 7th?
Yes, you can go to OhioCombatLeague.com.
Okay.
They're streaming a live pay-per-view link on their website. So you go to OhioCombatLeague.com. You can go to the link and click the link, the pay-per-view link, and the fight will be streamed live. And you can follow me on my social media, and the link is in my bio. Just Armand _ none to lose _ Richard on Instagram.
Okay.
It's Armand Richard on Facebook.
And how active would you like to be in 2025, man? Like, you've already had like the fight that you just had, now the split decision loss that you just had in April, man. Was that your first fight of 2025?
Yeah, 2024, yeah.
Right, and I'm sorry, 2020. So, how active would you like to be here in 2025? Like, if you had your way, how many fights would you like to get in?
I want at least four or 5 fights out the year. Hopefully, we get the decision we want, or we don't even go to decision this fight. And for me, having a WBC and ABF little title, it opened up doors for me. I'll start getting more fights.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
That's what we planning on. That's the game plan.
So, I always hate to ask this question because I feel like it gets asked all the time, man. But I don't know, like, if you're the kind of guy, who likes the verbal jousting or whatever, man. But a prediction for June 7th.
Fireworks, man. June 7th.
Okay.
The prediction.
Boxing fans always like to hear fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks. It's nonstop action for me. He gonna have to fight. He gonna have to fight his ass off to get me out of his face. That's all I'm gonna say. Is fireworks. Fireworks.
Listen, fair enough, man. If a boxing fan ain't gonna turn in for fireworks, man, then you can't call yourself a true fan, man. When someone's promising fireworks, man, tune the fuck in.
Yeah. That's
all there is to it, man. That's all there is to it, man. Right?
Yeah, man. That's fine. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm so, like I said, it's a rematch, so it's not about business no more. It's personal. I kind of feel like they against me in this fight because he grew up. We fight in his hometown where he grew up in.
Yeah.
So I feel like they was kind of against me anyway. So now I feel a little personal. Like, okay, it's not fair. I don't feel like it was fair on my end. So, okay, now I'm mad. Now y'all got me mad.
And is that rare for you, man? Like, is it hard for a guy to make it personal with you, man? Like, you usually look at it as business, man? Like, are you a guy, who does get into the trash talking or who does get in that stuff? Or do you just usually do the talking in the ring?
Yeah, I usually just do the talking in the ring. Like me, like I said before, I'm a silly guy. I like to have fun.
Yeah.
But when it comes to boxing, I'm all serious. I understand it's business. At the end of the day, me and you, it's business. I can kick your ass at the end of the day. Then when we done kicking ass, we can be cool. So that's me. It's business. You didn't do nothing to my family. You didn't cross no line and disrespect me as a man. So it's business. I don't take anything like that personal.
Well, I wish you a lot of luck, man, and I really appreciate you doing this, man. And for sure, stay in touch, man. And when shit's popping off, man, we'll jump back on here and we'll do it again. I'd love to have you back, man, for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. And best of luck, man. We'll be watching, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, take it easy, man. Thanks for doing it, man. Good talking to you. There he goes, folks. Armand, none to lose. Richard, 7-1-1, 3 knockouts, and he is running it back with the only guy who dropped an L on him, Dante Ettore, if that's his name. I think it's his name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I know it's his name. It's written right here. But they fought on April 26th to a controversial split decision loss, which is obviously not sitting very well with Armand, who feels he's got a little chip on his shoulder going into this one, it sounds like, man. Feels like they did him a little bit dirty, man. And obviously, you guys can go out there. You can check out the viral video, man, the footage of the fight. Draw your own conclusions. That's not for me to say, man. I have my opinion, man. Of course, I do my homework on my guests always, man. A polarizing decision. I'm not just saying it just because I just had Armand on here, man, but did think that the fight should have gone his way. But, I'm an honest, candid guy, man. That's what I'm on here to do, man. But we will run it back June 7th. It will be Armand, none to lose, Richard against Dante Ettore, running it back one more time for some absolution here. Let's resolve this thing and let's find out, man, because, two men have got to resolve it. That's what it's all about, man. That's why a draw in boxing just seems like, Jesus, man, tack on another round and ring the bell again, man. We got to go out and solve this thing once and for all. But that's not for me to change the rules. Draws exist in boxing. Don't get me started on that, man. But an amazing chat, man. Pleasure having him on, man. And we will definitely chop it up with him again, man. Armand Richard, super, lightweight. BoxRec had him as a super lightweight. BoxRec, check your stats, man. But he says 135 pounder, man. But we might see him go all the way up to welterweight, as he said. He will be exploring other weight classes as his career progresses. And another Ohio guy, man. Go figure, man. Ohio churning out them fighters, man. And I don't want to put Jake Paul in that category and impugn the reputation of any other real Ohio fighters, but it does sound like Jake Paul's starting to earn some respect amongst his peers in this boxing game for the way he's trying to live his life and train and be seen as a boxer. But that's neither hide nor hair, man. Great conversation with Armand Richard. Make sure to tap into the fight June 7th, coming right up, right around the corner, man. And obviously, he gave you the 411 on how to check out the fight, how to check out him, how to keep up with what's doing in his world. So there you go. You got the info. Do what you will with it. That being said, let me go promotion mode here and remind you guys to like and follow Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. You'll get updates on new episodes when they're dropping and who will be on them, plus any other big boxing news. If it's popping off in the fight game, I will put it up there and keep you guys in the loop. And of course, if you're here on this channel right now, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to smash that notification bell to stay tapped in to the most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth. You guys know the motto: legends, luminaries, world champions, fighters on the come up. They come here and we chop it up. That's what we do here. And that's what makes us the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast. And it's very simple for you to be a champion as well. How can I do it, Rexx? All you got to do is continue to stay tapped in with Off the Couch Boxing. That's pretty simple, right? Continue to stay tapped in and continue to roll with the champs. Peace.